All right, welcome everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 7th of February, 2024, and this is the Cluster API Office Hours meeting. Cluster API is a sub-project of Kubernetes SIGs, and as such, we follow their meeting guidelines, which basically boil down to, please treat others as you would expect to be treated, and explicitly so. Please be kind to each other. And if you'd like to speak, please raise your hand and I will call on you. So at the beginning of our meetings, we like to give a little time for newcomers to the community or to the meetings to say hi and introduce themselves. So if that sounds like something you would like to do, please raise your hand and I'll call on you. And yeah, you can say hi to everybody. Yeah, no worries, Fabrizio. All right, I'm not seeing any hands going up, so we'll move on from new attendee welcome in 3, 2, 1. Okay, rolling on to the open proposal readout. I don't think we have any open proposals, but we'll check. Nope, nothing there. And so now we'll get into the general discussion topics, which it looks like there are none. So I will circle back around to this once we go through the other updates here to give folks time to add things if they'd like to. So we'll move into the provider updates. Looks like Nolan, you've got the first one with something on AWS. So please take it away, Nolan.
Yeah, we're hoping to get 2.4.0 released next week with an update to CAPI 1.6 and I believe Cube 128 or 29. I can't remember which one. I think 28. And some new features. So yeah, hoping to get that done by end of next week.
Cool. Thanks, Nolan. Matt, you got the next one up. Do you want to read this out or should I read it if it's too noisy there?
It's pretty self-explanatory. We just have some patch releases, and this is the only audience who would care. So I'm announcing that here is just bug fixes.
Cool. We like bug fixes, so thank you very much for that. All right, and then the feature group updates. Today we will be meeting for the Carpenter feature group, and I've got the agenda listed there, so not too much to go over there. All right, so that brings us to the end of the agenda, unless there are topics people would like to discuss that they have not put on the agenda yet. I'll give folks a second or two to think about it, but if not, I think we're going to take back a record-breaking 54 minutes of our day. All right, going in 3, 2, Fabrizio, please. You've got your hand raised.
Just a quick one, a segue of Nolan points. So circling back, cluster API by itself without provider is not relevant. So we really need a provider to catch up with cluster API version and Kubernetes versions. This is a community effort. There is also an issue in CAPI trying to discuss if it is possible to get a provider to start testing using cluster APIs nightly build, which will greatly speed up the adoption of new release. So yeah, this is a call for action. Dear friends in provider, this will make everyone successful. And thank you for your hard work there.
Lubomir, please.
I have a different topic, just a question, I guess. Does anybody know what is the current status of the feature group for in-place upgrades? I don't have any secret agenda about this. I was just wondering if the group is meeting. Is this on the calendar? What's going
on? Does anyone, Fabrizio, please?
I don't have a direct update, but as far as I know, Guillermo, which was leading the group, has been busy lately. And so I don't think that they are making progress. Recently, maybe they are going to restart.
Thank you.
Who was that, Fabrizio? I missed what you said.
Guillermo from AWS.
All right. Sorry, Lubomir. Did you?
I don't know. I guess maybe I will ping some people on Slack. Maybe I'll see if some tickets get updated about this. I see that Richard is also raising his hand.
Yeah, please, Richard.
Sorry, yeah, as far as I know, there is a work in progress proposal draft. I will just drop the link in here. So I think that it's been quite active over the last like couple of months. So I've just put that in there. That's what I know of the latest of the in-place upgrades.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right, cool. And we've gained another topic as well. David, you've got an issue here about graduating machine pools, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a kind of, I guess, feeler or status update on where folks are. I mean, I looked at the issues and it seems like we're kind of, maybe I'm missing it, but it's unclear what our next steps are here.
All right. Does anybody have thoughts about the next steps on graduating machine pools out of experimental? Yes. Do we have a documented policy on what it takes to get out of experimental and into stable? Vince, please.
Well, the general policies is probably what it's already documented upstream, kind of with feature gates. Looking at the latest iterations of machine pool specifically, I personally feel like a little bit more comfortable, like at least enabling this feature by default going forward, and get more feedback. It seems the ETs are in place, and things like that. It also has been an API for a while, but that's less of that rather than like actual progress that we have seen within the API. So yeah, I'm personally in favor. I don't know if other folks and maintainers have thoughts.
So to clarify, you're proposing that at least an immediate step would be to deploy it by default without the experimental flag, but still leave it in experimental?
Yes, it would be still beta, but it will be enabled by default. So I think today is marked as alpha, correct? And it's enabled by default false, but it would go to beta, enabled by default true. And then we could probably also send out an email to the mailing list announcing the beta promotion and for the feature gate, and after that, kind of hoping to get more feedback as well from folks.
Makes sense to me. I'm all in favor for that.
Well, I guess I'm gonna call out the other maintainers, Fabrizio and Stefan and others. Do y'all have any pushback or? Go ahead, Stefan.
Yeah, sorry, Stefan.
Definitely no pushback against enabling per default. What I'm currently lacking is like an overview over like what are the, I mean, I know we had a few issues over the last half year where we're saying, oh, we wanted to like this machine pool machine thing, and I think we implemented like half of it. And then the other half was sort of, we don't really remember what it exactly was. But I think nobody ever wrote like a to-do list what was missing. So I mean, one of the ideas of machine pool machines, I think, was, for example, that they work together with machine health checks. I think we never did that. I think at some point there was also the idea with machine pool machines that we have like the ones where you can actually delete them, but also the other ones which are a little bit more artificial. I think we also never really did that one. So I think what would be good is essentially just an overview over like, I don't know, those are the things we were planning to do. And I think it's totally fine for someone to just say, okay, yeah, that doesn't make any sense anymore. but I'm currently entirely lacking the overview or the time to write up an overview over what are like the half-done pieces of that stuff. I know that for the cluster class plus machine pool combination, we have a few more a bit more test coverage to add, but I think that shouldn't block enabling machine pools per default, also because it's like in combination with another feature flag, which is cluster class. So I think that shouldn't block it.
Fabrizio, you're up next.
Yeah, Stefan raised a good point. Let me say, what is the status of the implementation of the feature? The second one is that in full transparency, we are not using machine pools, so I don't have a good feedback from end users. But yeah, for this one, I trust on the opinion of other maintainer or the forks that are using it. So yeah, but definitely no pushback if as a team we consider it complete and there is no, the pipeline of feature is good enough. Definitely +1 to move on.
Lubomir, please.
A couple of things we do in upstream Kubernetes. We have caps, obviously, which are similar to KIPes. What happens there is whenever somebody wants to graduate a feature, they go in the cap and they update it. This might include test plan updates. This might include any updates related to known issues. So my point is, caps are living documents, and when you push change to the cap, people should review and they will comment. Basically, you have a list of things that they want to look at. And also, I guess you have to have the main tracking issue of the feature. So to the point Stefan is raising, you have to have a list of things that are known issues around machine pools, and only then you can ask the maintainers to graduate the feature. The other thing I wanted to say, I don't know what is the cluster API policy around beta APIs, moving away from experimental. But in upstream Kubernetes, we have this there's a schedule. You can have alpha of one release, next release you enable beta by default, and for one release more you keep this like this, enabled, and after that it goes GA, obviously, and after that you remove the. I don't know if if Cluster API has something like that, but if it doesn't, it's a good idea to write a document about it, I guess.
Thanks, Lubomir. That's like those are great. It's great information to share. Appreciate it. So I guess like it seems like we have some actions for next steps here. It seems like there's kind of general agreement about including it. Does this kind of answer your questions, David?
Yeah, this is helpful. Yeah, I think moving the needle forward. So I think it sounds like everyone's for the moving it into default deployment, and then sounds like the only thing I gather is from Stefan there might be some research, I guess, on the graduation, but I also agree that I think once we deploy it by default, hopefully that will help surface any other issues or things that we might need to address to graduate it. So yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. Any other comments, questions, considerations about that topic? All right, I'm not seeing hands going up, and it looks like we've had no new additions to the agenda since then. So we were on pace for a record-breaking meeting today, but it looks like we'll have to just take 40 minutes as our cut for today. So thanks everyone for coming out, and I guess we'll see you next time.